Hi, my name is Heather Smith, and you're listening or watching the Accounting Hacks podcast. So late last year, I kind of took a poll about what people thought about podcasts. I very much wanted the podcast to remain audio, but people were like, yes, we want video. So that was my sort of commitment for 2025. I am not sure how I feel about that, but here I am showing up on video for the podcast. So hope you had a restful time over the break if you did take time off. I know for me personally, I'm actually taking time off at the end of the month. So what month we're in? January. So I literally start my time off next week, just because of the way things happened and the way holiday plans happen. So that was I'm looking forward to that. Now you're here at the Accounting Apps podcast, and the very first episode is always a challenging one for me to get out, and I overthink it. I take too long to get it out, and I kind of don't know what to actually drop in the actual podcast. And so, especially complex that I have to have a visual one. And I wasn't sure, this is another thing, I wasn't sure visually whether you wanted it landscape or whether you wanted it portrait or mobile friendly. I don't know how that all happens. And I don't know how you do all those readjusting. Goodness, I'm an old lady. I'm trying my best here. So let me tell you how I got to this point here. As you know, so what I'm going to do is explain how I developed today's podcast. And today's podcast is going to be accounting bingo for 2025. So kind of what are the predictions for 2025 in our accounting industry. But let me tell you how I got there. You know that I put out a accounting apps newsletter, okay? And that goes out sort of on a weekly basis. And again, I paused it over the holidays, but first one comes out today. I ran a poll, and apparently today is the day people want it to start back up again. And I do encourage you to subscribe to the Accounting Apps newsletter if you haven't done so already. So the Accounting Apps newsletter, the way it works is all of the accounting technology blogs from all over the world that I'm aware of that have active RSS feeds feed into my database, okay? So because it went on pause, they were all feeding in, and there was a dam there, and I kind of had to go in and break the dam wall for today's newsletter. So I skimmed through 1,100 blog articles. Okay, so I looked through them and I determined what I think is going to be beneficial, helpful, useful for the accounting and bookkeeping community. And so then I activate those to be available, to be selected for the newsletter. And as you'll know, the newsletter that is produced is bespoke. Everyone receives a different newsletter depending on what their likes and dislikes are, what they click through on. Okay, so it's a brilliant platform. It uses AI, machine learning, algorithms to sort of surface what's friendly for what's interesting for you. But so meanwhile, I filtered through 1,100 posts, and I got about 70. So I ended up with about 70. But then I thought, okay, well, in that 70, I could see a mix of reflections of 2024, but also predictions for 2025. So I then searched for anything that mentioned a prediction or mentioned 2025. And then I opened up the tab on my browser. I then installed, I'm currently writing an article about Chrome extensions. So let me know if you have a favorite Chrome extension, okay, side note. And someone recommended I install a Chrome extension called Tab Copy. Tabcopy. And so I have opened up all of the I've gone from 1,100 articles to about 70 articles, and I've now opened up all articles that mention 2025 or predictions. Okay, so I have about 20 tabs open on my browser. I then click tab copy and I choose the option all tabs. It copies all of the tabs. 5 minutes worth of work saved. I then copy that into like my Google Docs. What I initially did was I pasted them all into ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT to read them, but it actually said I'd given it too many. So I think I said 20 articles and it said it was too many. So I then said, I batched it into five articles and said, can you read 5 articles? Can you read 5 articles? Can you read 5 articles? So within the one prompt of ChatGPT, I got it to read all of the articles that had come through on 2025 predictions. And then I'm able to ask it questions about it. So I asked it questions, I asked it, can you summarize what the reflection posts were about? And it gave me some information about that. And then I said, what are all these blog posts predicting for 2025 that's relevant for accountants and bookkeepers? And it came up with that. And I nuanced it sort of slightly. I said, don't seek information outside of what I've given you. And sort of nuanced it and sort of asked it sort of different questions around that. Okay, so now I've got a summary of 2025 predictions for our bingo card. Remember, we're playing bingo. And I've got this summary and I've got to do a podcast on it, okay? So I then say, using this summary, create a podcast script for the Accounting Apps podcast in the tone of Heather Smith. Voila, okay? So I'm now, remember, the first podcast is always really challenging for me to get out because I just kind of overthink it. And using all of AI and using those tools, which was really quite sort of simple tools, and hopefully I've explained that to you, I have a podcast script. Now, I am not reading verbatim from the podcast script. However, what I am doing is using it as this really useful prompt. I'm using it as a really useful prompt for me to have this conversation with you about your bingo card. Accounting bingo, predictions for 2025, and I am going to sort of read through them with you, and then we're going to hopefully come back at me. Let me know what you think about them, okay? But I thought you might be interested in that process, okay? And so for me, I've been podcasting for 7 years, okay? And last year I produced 30 podcasts. So the muscle is there and the flex is there. And I think it would be really boring if I just read off, welcome to the Accounting Apps podcast, where we will spotlight trends and tools and shaping the world of accounting. Like, that would be really boring. But I'm leveraging the AI, putting in the human, and hopefully bringing you something quite interesting. So, what's on the bingo card for the year ahead? Let's have a look. So, square one, I think you probably can guess what this one is. AI automation. So, no surprise, AI, top of the bingo card. Not that you have priority placement on a bingo card. So AI is automating repetitive tasks, analysing vast amounts of data, and somewhat predicting trends, as is what it's doing now. But it's also being useful for predicting trends in solutions out there, like the solutions like Xero are using it to predict trends, but then predict outliers, identify outliers, and security tools are also doing that. So whether it's categorising transactions, providing forecast insights, making our lives easier, okay? So next one, a bit controversial, ESG reporting tools. So environmental, social and governance is very much something that we're constantly seeing talked about, and sort of I think it's going to be, some accountants will need to be aware of this. I'm not sure whether all will, but some accountants. So, but mandatory ESG reporting has become a standard globally. And so accountants are helping track sustainability metrics alongside their financial metrics. And I can see so many solutions coming out in the industry about this. So I am actually quite concerned about the number of solutions that are actually coming out in the industry about this, because I think that they saw there was a need, but just too many potentially hit the market. Oracle is embedding its ESG tool right into its platform, and Spotlight Reporting, based out of Wellington, Richard Francis has developed a sort of a specific tool in Spotlight Reporting that focuses on that area. There are others out there. There are many others out there, and they all focus on sort of different things. So definitely something to keep across, and follow the people on LinkedIn who are particularly focused on this area. One of them is Sarah Lawrence and Sarah Whale, two Sarahs. Hey, I wonder why that is. Bingo card, square 3, cloud-based collaboration. I actually hate the term cloud-based, but maybe that's because I'm Australian and we're just doing everything digital, and I'm sitting here in my office connecting with the world, and other people maybe not there yet. But okay, so collaboration, global collaboration is just sort of a phenomenal thing to leverage. So accountants are embracing the platforms to allow their teams and clients to collaborate in real time from anywhere in the world, and there's so many benefits of this. There's so many benefits in terms of you can kind of be working and set off a problem and then wake up the next morning and someone somewhere has actually solved the problem. And it works in sort of various different ways. And I think very much encourage people to lean into remote and hybrid work if that suits you. Obviously, not all businesses are supporting that. People to follow who are doing that: Alex Falcon-Harata, who's doing a wonderful job of showcasing remote and hybrid work. But also, look, I'll just throw out an example that we just did overnight, that has just sort of surfaced overnight. I'm one of the co-founders of the Global Women Accounting Influencers community, and I developed a pitch for an accounting conference for the Accounting and Business Expo coming up in March, okay? And I said to the community, I've developed this pitch. This is not Australian centric. It is a global pitch. Anyone can use it. And so Della Hudson has, and I welcomed anyone to use it, refine it, and do what they need to it. And Della Hudson has actually gone and done that wonderfully, and she's pitching it to Accountex. Hopefully that's not a secret. She's pitching it to Accountex, and a community of amazing women based in the UK are going to be on that panel, hopefully, and a community of amazing ladies in Australia. I've actually got Lilette Kalisha and Sarah Owens, again, lined up for that panel. But what it is sometimes these conversations, we don't all need to be wasting time developing the pitches. We can grab a pitch, nuance it, and put it out there and enhance our learning. So a lot of the conference speaking is about solidifying our learnings and sharing them with the community. Okay, so in terms of collaboration, one of the things that highlighted, obviously all the main platforms, but highlighting the ChatGPT podcast script highlights carbon, in that they're adding powerful collaboration features for their practice management. So I'm highlighting that they've written about that, and I think that that's good that they're showcasing that. And if other solutions are doing that, highlight it in your blog post so we can read it and we can understand it. Square 4, data analytics and visualization. Well, this has been around for a while now. I think I was I did roadshows on this about a decade ago, but still being talked about, and I guess people are still sort of learning about it. So data analytics and visualization, seeing is believing, and understanding. And I think I'm a trainer and have spent many years training as a trainer. And what I would say is people learn in different ways. And the way we learn and the way we do something doesn't work for everyone. And so by putting something visually can really help people. And so there are a lot of wonderful tools out there that can help you with that. So they help you tell the story behind the data, and they sort of bring the balance sheets and the profit and loss statements and the other data there to life. So look at your Power BIs, look at your Fathoms, and look at your for a sort of bigger tool, Tableau, for visualizing financial insights. And I'll also mention there's a tool called DataSights, DataSights by Kevin Weigard. And that's if you have a bespoke solution, that is a good one for a bespoke solution. If you kind of in that multi-entity space, then kind of look towards the translucent. But Fathom has some really, really beautiful reports in there. But at a base level, look at your spreadsheets and look at the accounting package that you actually have. And if you're not sure what to do there, if you're not sure what to explain, ask ChatGPT. Say, hey, client wants this. How can I do it? What sort of reports could I generate? And it can, just the way it's helped me create this podcast here for you today, it can help you think about what's possible, okay? Square 5 of accounting, bingo! Whew. Enhanced cybersecurity. So security is a non-negotiable. I think there's so much there's so much requirements, and we see so many stories in the media. Security is a non-negotiable. Protection of our client data is a non-negotiable. So there's cyber attacks out there, which is really so exhausting. It's just let us get on with what we're doing. But we need to protect our data. We need to protect our clients' data, and we need to have really robust cyber security measures built into our workflow. So we're not actually sending out tax file numbers and emails and stuff like that. So solutions, you've got a number of solutions out there. Practice Protect. I use 1Password for password management. There's a number of password managements that fit on your that sort of are quite good, especially for the smaller firms. And 1Password is another Chrome extension. I told you I was writing about extensions at the moment. That's another one that I sort of mentioned in that. Advisory. So bingo card, Square 6 is advisory. Oh my goodness, my hair is so long. It's grown so long over the holidays, no one's going to recognize me. Advisory. Now, I'm Australian and the rest of the world calls advisory. But people in the US of A like to use the term CAS, Client Accounting Services or Client Advisory Services. I wish that conversation would just end and we could just talk about advisory. And then we can maybe nuance advisory to be accounts payable advisory or app advisory or growth advisory, because I think all of them actually, they're jigsaw pieces, but they all have different sort of focuses and different... they all have different focuses, and they all are interesting and useful in themselves. And if you're offering those services, that's sort of something something to think about. So accountants and bookkeepers are evolving into strategic advisors, helping clients make data-driven. I like to use the term data-informed. Anyone who's listened to me knows that I prefer the term data-informed decisions. Use your gut. Always bring your gut into your decision-making process. using data to grow their business. Offering more personalized services is the new norm. And look how I managed to, you can actually help ChatGPT and AI can actually help you give more personalized services because it's automating stuff and you can sort of set time for these important conversations. So I think that there's a lot of bookkeepers out there who are actually operating in the management accounting space, and the management accounting space is ripe and perfect for the advisory space. And I don't think that they realize that. And I've said this so many times before, I think sometimes the actual conversations that I'm having that are actually really valuable for the client, they're actually not charging for because they don't believe they don't believe what they're saying is valuable because it seems so obvious. That's the thing. It seems so obvious that they don't realize it's actually offering the client immense value. So if you're thinking about moving into advisory, first of all, I would suggest making sure you understand all the nuances of reporting, all the nuances of spreadsheets, and what is possible out there. Just spend some time exploring that. But if you are moving to advisory, one of the problems you're going to face is, how do I scale this, okay? And that's either a small number of big fish or a sort of a set ways for dealing with a lot more smaller fish. Some solutions out there that are worth checking out are the Gap. Check out the Gap, which is based out of New Zealand, but available. I'm pretty sure I saw them doing courses in the UK recently. So people from everywhere do the Gap courses. Another one is Clarity. So follow Ainsley Damery on LinkedIn, and they do a great job of talking about it. So if you follow Graham Tennick, based from Newcastle, he does a great job of talking about that, and so does Sharon Baker. You can see how they're talking about it and how they're actually offering it. Who else? Nicole McKenzie. She does a brilliant job of talking about it as well. And when I say talking about it, I mean posting on LinkedIn, having those conversations. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing, and sort of I think that's a great way to incrementally learn this. Okay, square 7 of bingo. Remote work technologies. Working from anywhere but staying connected, okay? So accountants are relying on tools that keep their teams productive and clients engaged no matter where they're working from. Okay, so we're still talking in that remote hybrid area, but then we're talking about sort of the tools they're using, and it suggests Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and Slack to keep those communications going. I would mention Teams, Teams and Zoom. So that's sort of for the communication. So Zoom is giving you those in-person meetings and sort of those asynchronous communication. So I'm communicating with you and you receive and get that information when you want to, and likewise I respond when I want to, and that's all sort of a wonderful way for asynchronous communication. It is wonderful to see humans in real life, and Tracy Newman from A2X visited me yesterday, and I baked her banana bread with walnuts on top, and I got ChatGPT to create the recipe for me. So and it's wonderful to actually see people in real life. She came over for a cuppa banana bread, for working and moving forward and all the work that we're doing, that these online communication tools are really useful. And Teams, Zoom, the Facebook groups, I would encourage you, if you're based in Australia, join the SPBLAPTA which is a small business accountants and advisors group, Australia. But you will find the other ones like Kelly Parks's Waterhole. Goodness, the Waterhole group. I've forgotten the name of it, but I'll pop it in the links there. Okay, but find the groups. Oh, and John Toon, Ryan Percy, and Indy. Group, which is the Digital Disruptors. Join that group over in the UK. Okay, so well, you can join the Xero Mastermind group, which is really the accounting apps group, but the accounting apps mastermind group. And Blake Oliver and David Leary also run a community in the US. I think it's the accounting podcast community. Oh no, maybe it's the earmark community. That's right, it's the earmark community. So another one to join. Okay. Square 8, automation for compliance. So it would seem to me that automation should be able to deal with a lot of compliance rules. And it's suggesting from tax filing to payroll, automation should help you reduce errors and save time. And it's saying look for the tools that connect with, the portals that connect with sort of the Inland Revenue or the Australian Taxation Office or whatever that is, and use those for connecting to submit. So every time when they work, they work really well, and when they get them in place, they work really well. Really important to listen to what the consumers and the agents, how it's actually working for them, because I hear frustration across the world. However, some things they get really right, and when they get it right, we don't talk about it, which is kind of sad, isn't it? We talk about the pain, but I guess that's what you want. Square 9 of accounting bingo. Woohoo! We've only got 10 squares on it. Doesn't make sense, actually. It should have 9 squares, shouldn't it? So square 9 is simplified payments. Get paid faster and easier. So streamline the payment solution so you help accountants and their clients manage cash flow more effectively. So it is a really interesting conversation to have, and I think that you need to be aware of what the payment options are out there. One of the things is I've been in the industry a long time, and what we do is we find one, we get on it, and then they put the rates up once we're committed, and we've got a few people on, which can be frustrating. But definitely getting a good payment solution in place can improve payments and improve cash flows. And you have to be mindful of what is actually going to be charged on that as well, in terms of what the ongoing costs are for actually having that. And I will point out, many of you will know the brand Ignition. I'm surprised I can't reach around me and find a hat. I normally have an Ignition hat close by. Many of you will know the brand Ignition, and they have actually released a solo plan, a micro plan, a solo plan, available throughout the world. And that means that it's more cost effective for a smaller business to use it. And essentially, sort of conceptually, the Ignition concept is that you get clients to sign an engagement letter, which then authorizes payment, and when invoicing happens, the payment automatically comes out of their accounts. There are a number of solutions out there will do it. Get Pinch from Australia does sort of something different but similar. And there's IntegraPay, Go Cardless, PayPal. There's a number of solutions out there, but really probably worth reviewing what they are. I know sometimes someone will actually do a big review, and you can kind of jump in and piggyback off what they've identified, and then shift away. It's difficult when you get all committed to things, but keen to see test the Ignition plan, the new. Good to see the new Ignition one, because they've been big community supporters for a long time, and I know that a lot of people have been asking for that one. And, okay, so this is square 10 for the accounting bingo, sustainability in practice. So embracing greener practices for the practice, which kind of is a pun on words there. So it's not ESG reporting, but it's actually looking inwards and working out what is sustainable practices, like looking at the OCR solutions, which are removing the need for paper from your office. Okay, so there are a number of solutions out there that have been on the market and have been available for a decade. Your Data Molino, your Dext, Expert is bringing out a solution that will remove paper. And so, this is my office, and I'll show you my Lego. Look what I made for you. So you can see, See, I don't have paper in here. Can you see that Lego I made? Look at that, isn't that beautiful? That was my Christmas present from my daughter. It took me about 2 days to make it. And I kept dropping the pieces on the floor and having to roll around on the floor to find them. But what that means is no paper, okay? So that really moving to paperless workflow options really means that you can be more flexible. You can find things much faster, and you free up space in your actual office. Okay, so that was my that was the 10 predictions from that was the 10 predictions from that ChatGPT surface from all of the predictions from the 1100 blog posts that I read. Now, I did want to point something else out to you because I'm on video and I'm not used to doing video before. But one of the things I did put up myself, which I'm quite happy with, let's see if you'll be able to see it. Oh, there. Now, you probably won't be able to read it, but they are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So it's just sitting there above my head. So really pleased that was one of my goals for over the break, to get that framed and up and posted up there, because it is good to reflect on them in the decision making process. Okay, is this adhering to, how is this impacting these goals? Is it in line with these goals? So I've always been very interested in what the United Nations is doing and trying to align with those goals. And so that brings me to the end of my first video recording for the Accounting Apps podcast. Yes, I talked non-stop for over 30 minutes. That was impressive, wasn't it? But I hope you liked it. I've got another podcast episode to release quite soon, so you'll have a few there. I'm attending lots of conferences, etc. in the next few weeks, in the next few months, so I look forward to seeing you. Please get in contact. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your predictions are. Let me know what you think is going to happen in 2025 and what's happening for you. Now, thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the Accounting Apps podcast. Please subscribe to the newsletter to keep up to date. And if there's extra content in there that you'd like, I try and curate everything for the community. I have mentioned a number of solutions in this episode that I strategically partner with, but have balanced that out with other solutions sort of sitting in the area. The strategic partnership sort of gives me that awareness of what they're doing and sort of that priority awareness of what they're doing. But I do try and be across as many solutions as I possibly can. Thank you for your support. Look forward to seeing you in 2020.